The Democratic Republic of Congo has filed a criminal case against Apple subsidiaries in France and Belgium. The African nation accuses the tech giant of using so-called conflict minerals in its computers and smartphones. The Eastern DRC is rich in minerals like tin, tantalum and tungsten. These minerals are often extracted in unofficial mines run by armed groups. UN experts and human rights activists say those militias are responsible for massacres of civilians, mass rapes and looting. Apple denies the allegations and says it does not directly source its primary minerals. Well, for more on this, let's bring in Christophe Marchand. He's a lawyer on international and criminal law and is representing the Democratic Republic of Congo in the case brought against it in Belgium. Welcome to DW. So to begin with, could you briefly outline what exactly you're accusing Apple of doing?
So today we just filed a criminal complaint with investigative judge here in the court of Brussels. And so the accusation that is made is accusations of money laundering, also concealment, and also the fact of misleading the consumers on the origin of the products they are selling.
All right. So if the DRC thinks there are conflict minerals in Apple products, does that also mean that you're also legally pursuing the suppliers?
No, so the thing is that it's not that we think that that Apple is using blood minerals. It's just that we base our analysis on numerous reports from NGOs, of course, but also official reports from the United Nations. I mean, everyone knows, and you can remember when Dr. Mukwege got the Nobel Prize, that he was showing his Apple phone saying, everyone knows that in this phone, there are blood minerals. So the fact that this region of the world, Kivu, is now in a war led by blood minerals is a fact. Now, the next step, after having said that, is to show that Apple knows it and that Apple directly uses blood minerals in its supply chain. And that's what we demonstrate in the complaint.
Now, earlier this year, there was a case in the United States where plaintiffs tried to hold all tech giants accountable for, it's a separate issue, for child labour in cobalt mines in the DRC. Now, the case was rejected. Are you hopeful that your case will be more successful?
Well, I'm completely convinced after all the work we've been doing with all the teams here, legal team in Belgium, but also a legal team in the UK and the US, and the Congolese team and the French team, the legal teams, that we have enough evidence to show that blood minerals that were gathered on some mines where there are some international crimes committed, that those blood minerals were after all sold to foundries that afterwards were put in the supply chain of Apple, and Apple knows that. And if you want, I can mention the facts that we mentioned in the complaint, but we are pretty sure that we have all the evidence we need to bring Apple to a criminal trial in Belgium.
Tell us more, though, about the end goal here. So what exactly do you want to achieve from this case? Would you like to see an end to these products being used, not just in the DRC, but in other countries, and for these laws to be sort of basically followed?
Well, I think the goal, I'm representing the state of Congo. So the goal of the Republic is to show to the consumers that the product they have in their hands is contaminated by international crimes, and to show the world, the international community, which doesn't really care about what's happening in Kivu since 30 years with millions of deaths, that this situation has to come to an end, and that this conflict is mainly driven by this industry of blood minerals. And that's what the DRC wants to show to the world. And of course, trying to put an end to this situation, as DRC is considering that the system that has been put in place by Apple and other organizations to control the origin of the minerals is not working very well. Even more than that, it's a complete failure.
Very interesting speaking to you. Lawyer Christophe Marchand joining us today from Belgium.